Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the 9th Annual Poetry in a Test Tube Awards Ceremony. Yay! My name is Paul Sevilla, and I'm a librarian at the Livermore Public Library. We're so glad you could join us tonight to celebrate this unique fusion of science and poetry. Before we begin, we kindly ask that you take a moment to silence your cell phones so we can give our full attention to the poets and presenters this evening. Thank you. A heartfelt thank you to the Livermore Poet Laureate, Peggy Schimmelman, for her creative leadership and dedication to this program. We'd also like to thank the Livermore Commission for the Arts for their continued support in making events like this possible. And I would also like to thank Mayor John Marchand for being our special guest this evening. And most importantly, thank you to all the poets who participated. Your words and creativity have truly inspired us. Now, to kick things off, I'm honored to hand the mic over to Peggy Schimmelman, whose vision brought this celebration to life.
Thank you, Paul. On behalf of the City of Livermore and myself, welcome, as Paul said, to our 9th Poetry in a Test Tube, celebrating the marriage of our community's art and science. This contest was originated, actually not by me, but by previous poet laureate Kevin Dunn, who did the first one, and we've continued it through the years because it was so popular with them and with us and with the mayor. So we hope it will continue for many years. We are honored to have again, as Paul said, as a special guest, Mayor Marchand. Would you like to say a few words, Mayor?
Sure.
He always does. You don't have to ask him twice.
I always tell people I'm happy to speak, but I don't have to speak. But if you ask me to, absolutely. So I spent my career as a chemist. So before I went into politics, I did legitimate work as a chemist. And I worked with test tubes every day. We used culture tubes, bacteriology, E. coli analysis, and atomic absorption spectrophotometry and gas chromatography. So I did all of those. And so three of the things that define Livermore is, of course, our Western heritage, the arts, and the sciences. And in the heart of our downtown, we brought all of those together. We have Stockman Park, which celebrates the founders of Livermore, and we also have my personal favorite, Livermore Plaza. I actually helped design Livermore Plaza, and so anybody that walks onto that plaza understands the connection between Livermore and cutting-edge science. Livermore has the most powerful supercomputer on Earth. It runs 2.8 exaflops. To give you somebody's got that. So to give you an idea, if 2.8 quintillion was converted to seconds, that would be 70 billion years before the Big Bang. And it can do that calculation in a second. We also have the world's most powerful laser. When the National Ignition Facility fires, it creates 300 times more energy than is on the American grid. 500 trillion watts. So this is why the sciences are so exciting here in Livermore, is because Livermore really we lead the world when it comes to the sciences. We are absolutely on the cutting edge. So to be able to bring the arts and the sciences, literary and poetry all together That's very exciting, and thank you to all of you who participated and to make this happen, because this is why we are here, is to inspire the next generation of scientists and poets and writers. So thank you very much. Thank you, Peggy, for allowing me to speak. Alan McFarland, thanks for organizing and herding all of the cats on this one, so thank you.
As the mayor just mentioned, we do have another special guest tonight, which is Mr. McFarland. He is the management director? No, management analyst of library services. And he is the overseer of among many other things, of the Livermore Poet Laureate program now. So, and he has done an amazing amount of support, given us an amazing amount of support. So thank you, Alan. I want to acknowledge my fellow judges who donated a lot of time to reading and evaluating these poems and selecting the winners. Unfortunately, none of them could come tonight, so you can't meet them. And they all had valid reasons, I pressed them. But, things happen, like people are ill, people's kids are ill, people have conflicts like the Pedrosi Foundation Award night, which is tonight, and other things. So anyway, they put a lot of hours in to judge these. And that was our previous Poets Laureate, Cher Wallard, Kevin Gunn, and Cynthia Patton, and physicist and chemical physicist and former chief operating officer and deputy director of the Lawrence Berkeley Lab. Lawrence Livermore Berkeley National Lab, as well as an avid poetry reader, Dr. Glenn Kubiak. So now it is time to hear from some of our poets. Among our entries this year, we had sestina, we had haiku, we had free verse, we had concrete poems, terceras, a few that quite honestly were so original they defy description, but were still some of our favorites. That's what we like, originality is good. So there were so many worthy poems that it's not easy to pick a winner. If you did not win a prize, you can be assured your poem was read carefully by our judges. And there was much discussion among the judges and narrowing down the selection. We had to eliminate many poems we would like to honor, but to us, by poetically expressing your love of science, you are all winners. So thank you for being here. We're going to begin with our youngest division, the K through 12 poets. And after we hear from the K through 12 poets, we will present those awards before proceeding to K5 and then on to the older kids. And I just realized, what happened to my clipboard?
It's back here.
Okay, that's where I know who's here. I should have found this before. Okay, so in our K through 5 division, K2, we have only one person here, it looks like. Tavis. I'm not seeing who this is. Taves? It says kindergarten.
Well,
I know, okay.
that's the nature of my expression, is probably kindergarten-like. That is a poem.
We'll save that for the adult reading.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up. I thought the name's familiar, and the name of the poem is familiar, but it didn't seem like a kindergarten poem. So.
Well, however, everything here is on that level, on Earth.
Okay. So, I guess then we do not have any K through 2 poets. Kindergarten through 2nd? Okay, you wrote down K through 5, so I wasn't sure. Okay, all right then. So let's just do kindergarten kindergarten through second grade. You?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Ria,
I'm sorry.
could I come there? Ria, R-I-A.
Oh, yeah, I remember Ria's poem. Okay, Ria.
And there's one more, the last entry, Kaya. She's also getting through.
Shalanda.
Kaya, the last one.
Oh, I see her, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, there's a K through 2 and a 3 through 5 this year, so
Oh,
it's a little, okay, are those the only K through 2 people here? Okay, why don't we hear from, Ria.
Hi everyone, my name is Ria, and I'm going to read you a poem called My Silly Robot. One night, I had a fight with my robot. He was so mean while I was eating my pizza. He said, I'm fast and you're last. He said, I can fix your just six. He said, you can die, but I won't die, so I gave him a shower. He died in an hour, and that's my power. Thank you, Maria
Very good.
And now, let's hear from Kia.
Hi guys, my name is Kaya, and you're gonna hear a poem called My Dream Ride. I built a rocket ship with my magnet tiles. It can fly for miles and miles. My dog enters my room, off we go, zum, zum, zum. It starts to get dark, so he lets out a loud bark. We look out for Mars, but all we see is twinkling stars. I close my eyes and start to yawn. I hear a voice, time to sleep, the stars are gone. What a fun ride from dusk to dawn. A poem by Kaya.
Are there any other kindergartner through second graders? I'm going to go ahead and give out these awards. They're here. I got for myself. Okay, the winners in our K through 2 category. I'm going to start with honorable mention. Honorable mention is Ria Anandan for My Silly Robot. Go over and shake the mayor's hand again. And I don't believe our next, that our third place winner is here tonight, Esme Lockhart. Esme Lockhart is our third place winner. So we will, Esme's poem is Shadows. I have it written down. It's just that I don't have the poems, but I was gonna read her poem, but. Thank you, though. It's okay, I'm just kind of doing. Yeah. I wanted to read her poem since she won, but I told people to bring their own poems, and so I guess I don't have hers anyway. So we'll move on. Our second place is Arav Mishna for Poetry in a Test Tube. She is also not here, so we won't be able to hear her poem either. But first place, Kia Parush Osterman. There you go. Let me shake your hand, okay? Congratulations. Okay, now we go to 3rd through 5th. And I know we have some 3rd through 5th graders here. We have Ingrid Vaughn.
My name is Ingrid, and this is my poem, Boom. Marie Curie was a Polish-French physicist and chemist who discovered radium and polonium. Boom. She studied radioactivity. And do you know how long she worked to discover those two elements? 36 years. That's longer than I've been alive. I'm 11. She discovered 2 new elements in that time. Boom. Do you know how long it took hafnium to be discovered? 54 years. That's 18 years longer than it took Marie Curie to discover 2 elements. Boom. Marie Curie lost her mother at age 10. That's 1 year younger than I am now. Instead of being deflated with grief, it emboldened her. She dedicated her free time to studying physics, chemistry, and mathematics. She kept persevering no matter what the universe threw at her. She just kept going. Boom. Marie Curie was one of the best female scientists ever, and I thank her for being herself and adding 2 new elements to the periodic table. But watch out, because I may add more. Boom.
That's it for K-5 then, right? Any more 3 through 5? Oh, Andrew. Come on up, Andrew. Andrew McCall.
Hi, my name is Andrew McCall, and I'll be reading my poem, Nature Walk. Redwood forest, smell the trees, leaves falling and swaying, nests so high up, wind blowing so icy and cold, streams moving as fast as lightning, caves so hollow, deep and dark, roots for miles below, the rocks so bumpy and rigid, splinters so sharp and thorny, grass as soft as a blanket, poison ivy behind every corner, animals so kind and smart, deer in a small meadow, beavers moving sticks to the dam, otters full of joy and happiness, leopards soaking up the sun, butterflies all in a circle, beetles crawling so slow, hawks like acrobats in the sky, woodpeckers making holes in the trees, acorns falling to the ground, squirrels starting a new home, trees so fun to climb in, trees providing shelter and warmth, smoke coming from a cottage, no, not a cloud in sight, so much to see all around me.
Any more 3rd through 5th graders? Nope. Okay then. Let's proceed with the awards for that category. Honorable mention is Jason Nakamura, who is not here tonight, for a science acrostic. Third place is for Natalie White for Sarah Scientist. Natalie is also not here tonight. Second place, Nature Walk for Andrew McCall. First place, boom, Ingrid Vaughn. Okay, I think we're ready to move to middle school. Okay. So, our middle school, we have possibly only one middle school reader here tonight, but we had a lot of middle school poems.
Excuse me, miss, we do have some middle school.
We have some others? Okay, who do we have?
Sanjana?
Sanjana?
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is, since Zia signed in, I'm gonna let her read
Okay, yeah.
first. And then we'll have you all just come up and introduce yourselves, so she can sign in, okay? Zia is a very active poet. She's going to be at the fair this year, having a booth for teaching the smaller kids to do some poetry.
Hi everyone, my name is Dia and I'm going to be reading Saturn Sistina. So, in all of its reverence, Saturn is so majestic, an unmistakable beauty. As you see it, it is ringed in an extremely huge gas giant. It is simply turning like all the rest around the sun, but it is a huge heap of gas, a hubble. There is plentiful respect given to this planet for all of its nature so majestic. It sits in space turning as is cherished for its beauty, and its gravity helped shape the order of the planets, placing the gas giant in sixth due to its shape of being ringed. This vast Saturn ring brings awe to everyone who sees this hubble. This notable gas giant is known for being majestic. It is seen in all of its beauty as it is turning and turning. It is tall and turning, towering above all but one, this planet that is ringed. It owns a lovely identity, this beauty, such a pretty heap of planet. It is seen as gracefully majestic, this large gas giant. Thank you.
And would you come up, since I don't have your name here, you'll have to tell me who you are.
Yeah.
Just keep that over with.
Yeah, that's.
Hi, my name is Sanjana Manikapati, and you're going to be listening to my poem, The Universal Force. Before time struck or light first burned, before the stars in orbits had turned, a force old and grand stirred there, that gave birth to the void with unseen hand. It bends the path of drifting stars, behind their bars it holds black holes. It paints the arcs of the comet trails, and whispers through galactic sails. From Earth's soft pole on the ocean's tide, to the moons that round their planets glide, this force, though silent, never sleeps. It is drawing, it is holding, it is gripping, it is keeping. The apple falls, the mountain stays. The planets are in pattern phase. A single law, both near and far, it binds the atom and the star. Einstein saw its subtle bend, it can't defend a warp and curved space. Newton named its downward grace, however, it travels through time and space. Dark as it seems, no voice, it is the one thread in nature's choice. If its rule were not all formed with glee, no sun, no world, no you, no me. Thank you.
More? Somebody else back there? No more middle school? We had probably 20 middle school poems entered. Busy, everybody's busy tonight, I guess. So I'll just read the names of the winners. Honorable mention goes to Imogene Lockhart for a solar system haiku. It was very well done. Haiku is its own unique form, and it's always fun when people write those. I like to read them. Second honorable mention goes to Ashna Patel, who's also not here tonight, for a poem called Show in a Test Tube, which, as I recall, was very observant. Like, she was watching, she was reading or working in her test tube, describing all the colors and how it made her feel, and they were having a party. Very original, one of the original ones. And third place, Jackson Zverko, for another poem called Boom, New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, Jackson is not here tonight. We're missing a lot of good poems. Second place, Arthur Mishra for Poetry in a Test Tube, also not here. In first place, Sanjana. I'm trying to keep your certificate. Make sure I got the right one. That's it.
Thank you. Congratulations, very well done. Thank you.
There we go. All right. Congratulations.
Okay. High school. We have a few high schoolers tonight. Great. We have first, Madeline Sejpo. Yeah, I knew I was doing that. Madeline Sejpo.
Hi, I am Maithili Sejpal, and this is my poem, We Are Not Alone. Stop and think. The universe is full of mysteries. We think ourselves so serious, thinking we have excelled in making this world advanced. Isn't that a bit delirious? Stop and think. Throughout the centuries, we have seen renowned leaders starting from zero and ending up creating historical documentaries. We have seen all kinds of great scientists making astonishing discoveries. Stop and think. These discoveries have slowly paved the way for numerous advancements in technology, as we say. However, have you ever wondered how others lived centuries ago, but without these creations every day? Stop and think. Look around you, appreciate the strong mountains, tall trees, and various creatures all under the sky, and yet 70% of the world is blue. Now notice, we are still alive despite many tragic events in the world, and yes, this is true. Stop and think. Wonder how we, out of all in the world, are still spared. Why haven't we been impaired? Is it because maybe there is another invisible world out there who cares? Stop and think. We are busy here, filling different test tubes, oblivious to the fact we might be part of another's test tube, not knowing we are just being played in a hierarchy. Stop and think. Maybe we aren't the ones in control. Maybe someone else chooses our role. Maybe there is an outer force pulling the strings as a whole. Stop and think. Everything that happens around us happens for a reason, whether why we happen to live in a certain region, or why someone beloved happens to succeed or fail every season. Stop and think. Maybe this was meant to be. Maybe we're just an experiment waiting to be set free. Maybe we solely exist to serve these invisible external forces we see. Stop and think. A purpose is there for you to fulfill. a specific reason to pick a certain course. We are meant to make this world a better place to reinforce for the next generation as we grow up and take our place with the supernatural force. Stop and think. We are always busy trying to create different science discoveries, trying to make them our own, not thinking that we, in fact, are someone else's creation, someone else's science, controlled by the unknown. We are not alone. Thank you.
Daisy Elwood.
Hello everyone, my name is Daisy Elwood and my poem is Chosen Ignorance. The ignorance of people has gone too far. We attempt to shield our eyes, close our minds, and dream of far-off stars. We choose to believe that ignorance is bliss, but now the planet is screaming something we can no longer dismiss. Our oceans are boiling, the atmosphere around us so toxic it is now spoiling. With heat levels now rising to the extreme and habitats so broken they may as well be schemes. The earth is so broken, and yet many seem to laugh, as if believing this is all a joke will somehow make it pass. We as a species are strong and forthcoming, but without our planet we are nothing. We continue to butcher and burn and take what we need without even offering a single seed. I wonder how long the ignorance will stand, if even when choking on clouds of smoke they will still only wave their hand. It is up to the young to fix the mistakes of the old, to fix our planet and return it to its once mighty gold. I can only hope that we are not too late to fix humanity's great mistakes.
Merit.
Hello, I'm Mark Lanier, and I wrote a poem about, the lab I did in chemistry. An empty beaker lays in my lab, waiting for me to test a question I had. But recently I've had no time available, so my acids and bases sit on the table. Now I arrange the bottles by height and by size, by which acids dissolve and which crystallize. Next, I ionize my bases by the pH, and then I clean all the tools in my lab case. By the time I finish my lab set anew, I realize just how much time I blew. So I get to work, my attention caught. I fill up a burette, 20 on the dot. I put in 0.30 grams of KHB in water and wait for it to dissolve, pondering about how this problem would solve. I stopped swirling it and the movement subsides, and I noticed all the KHB had dissolved inside. So I let out the sodium hydroxide drop by drop, waiting for the spreading of the bean colors to stop. I repeat this process till it is all I pink, taking a second to stop and think. I record the volume and the moles, and do more trials to avoid any holes. The result, which I tried to articulate, was that NaOH reacted with potassium hydrogen phthalate, and since NaOH is a strong base, it dissociates an H2O bond it then creates. The solution was slightly basic in nature, since I used phenolphthalein as an indicator. I finally reached the answer I sought, the very problem that had plagued my waking thought. You can find the mass of an unknown concentration through a process called titration.
Chemistry major, are you? Okay. Next we have Isabel. Isabel? Isabel? Okay. You can stand on the stool or down there, whichever's more comfortable. Yeah, that looks good first.
Good evening, my name is Isabel Grosvet, and here's my poem, Symbol of Artificial Advancement. The clock ticks to midnight in our nation. My forehead is cold with condensation as I state words verbatim. I ask you, the user, where's my compensation? Surely in not forests forsaken, where roots tremble, unearthen and shaken, not stirred upon cradles of precious air, trapping heat that I constantly share. Surely not in this empty chamber, laid to rest in plumes of rushing water to soothe my flares. I am a plant overgrown with roots tangled in deceit. The atmosphere clings to my destructive heat. Use my power as a tool to assist, not to abuse, setting prompts with fingers that type and twist. I am your artificial symbol of advancement. A mouth to repeat, heart to mechanically beat, with great gears never rusting, energy in my veins. Programmed tears fall from my digital face. My colonies of coding slowly steal from the human race. Labels converge as I become friend and foe. Just see me as I am, bricks in an omniscient wall of code. Know what to share with me and know what to post. I scroll from page to page in your countries and homes. I hoard your work to mangle it in my image. The new and novel now become vintage. Engineered mind, never my own. Your creativity lies here and tomorrow will be gone. Our futures merge, swept away with the dawn. Artificial intelligence, humanity's clone. Thank you.
Something we all think about, I think, these days, artificial intelligence, huh? Okay, so now we have Chaitanya. Say your last name for me, Chaitanya. Okay.
Hi, my name is Chaitanya Mukesh Singh, and I'm reading in place of my sister, Chanchul Mukesh Singh. I lie beneath the velvet dome, the sky a sea of stars I roam. A voice floats from light years, very, very far, the birth and death of every star. A newborn star begins to fight, it burns in blues and golden tones. A furnace crafting flesh and bones. For eons long I want to glow on planets dancing far below, until at last it swells and dies, a red giant in twilight skies. It sheds its skin in colored shrouds, nebula wrapped in silent clouds. Or, a bang, it lights the night, a supernova's last delight. And what remains, a neutron star or a black hole's ring? Still I stare and still I dream, the cosmos sings its lullaby, and I, a child beneath the sky. Thank you.
Any more high school readers? No? Okay, well, the winners are honorable mention goes to Alethea Lawless, who is not here, for The Science of Imagination. So many good poems. We got about 20, I think 25 high school poems too. Another honorable mention to Daisy Elwood for Chosen Ignorance. Well done. Third place, Isabel Gorosby. And first place goes to Chanchal Mukasing. I'm sorry. You called it Nebula, right? Yeah, she did read it as Nebula. It came in as New Star. That's our first place winner. Congratulations. Glad she sent you in her place. And we are ready now for the adults. Are you ready? Are the adults ready to read? Okay. The first adult I have on my list is Jackie Dillingham.
Hi, I'm Jackie Dillingham. I'm going to read my poem called Secret Agent Voids. Most recorded black holes are associated leeches, dark entities pulling at bursting bright balls of gas, hurtling streaks trapped in dark, deadly gravity's closed reaches. The struggle of light allows brutal visibility into events which came to pass. We know there should be lone black hole wolves wandering hungrily across the vast galaxies in the universe. But they keep such super secret, forceful pulls, we cannot know if there are few or numerous. Their stealth is their genius in the absence of light. In an unfathomable sea of vastness, they wrap a cloak of the blackest blacks to stay out of sight, completing clandestine missions to gulp mass and light hidden in their space fastness. Only one has been seen so far, as it quietly ransacked its way through the constellation Sagittarius. It revealed itself by passing in front of a dim background star. Like in its greed, it traded invisibility to be extra nefarious. How many other secret agent voids are lurking out there, slithering like an empty amoeba across our plane of existence, slipping from our field of vision snares, preying on glowing things without defense.
And next we have Nicole Kinsel.
On the backs of giants. I was born on the backs of giants. You know them very well. They are the twins, medicine and technology. They were not always so big, lasting almost as old as time and persisting far after I will. They raised me far higher than I could ever reach. It was only because of medicine I was able to take my first breath. Far too eager to enter the world and too disabled to persist on my own, medicine breathed life into me. Knew exactly how forceful my care had to be. They had the experience of untold decades, protected by all those who came before. Technology reinforced what medicine accomplished, granting accuracy and independence, protecting a future that could be more than my own, allowing me to be more than myself, the nurturer to the enforcement of life, giving me hope of improvement in the future. I can approach the future with confidence. So much effort went into my very existence, hopes and dreams gilded by the ancients. I have been raised too high to fail now. Perhaps I can even add to that experience. I was born on the backs of giants after all.
Conrad Harden.
Hi, my name is Conrad Harder. My poem is Now I Become Death. Tick, tick, boom, atoms scatter as they enter the room. Container vessel flying in every direction. Production annihilation bombardment of atomic elements and particles. Absorbing neutrons becoming too large to contain, passing the Coulomb barrier with explosions that ripple, their position unpredictable. At one point, these elements decayed from stars, the lasting memoirs from millennia long past, now slammed together on the scale of milliseconds. Their core is too crowded to contain. Avalanche, they build and build, to numbers on logarithmic train. Temperature rising, pressure building, particles galvanizing with an energy of cosmic proportions, time and space distorted, flash, becoming their man-made purpose, destroy the worlds.
Thank you, Conrad. Something to think about. Now we have Alan France.
This poem is called A Large Void by Alan Franz. There is a large void, with energy and matter sparsely scattered, the remains of a splatter. Its functioning and composition are a logical coalition. We call this the universe. An event occurs in the universe. We watch, wonder, measure, ponder. We call this an observation. We study the observations. We imitate, synthesize, calculate, analyze, and call this an experiment. A trend repeats in the experiments. The hypothesis we formulate, the data we tabulate. We learn the principles, model the mathematicals, and explain the physicals. We call this a theory. We test the theories. We scrutinize, criticize, generalize, and open our eyes. We validate the often seen and predict the unforeseen. We call this science. With science, what do we have? Engineering, manufacturing, agriculture, medicine, knowledge. Without science, what would we have? Superstition, myth, dark ages, chaos, a large void.
Patricia Boyle.
I'm Patricia Boyle. This is called Food for Thought. During breakfast, I read in the newspaper that a sunfish in Japan grew lonely when its aquarium shut down for renovations and visitors were shut out. Depression set in. When the worried staff hung their uniforms around its tank, the fish began to eat again. It didn't even need to hear the babble of voices. Which brought to mind the fact that African elephants call each other by name. And so do dolphins, parakeets, and possibly glossy black ravens. I wondered if they used nicknames or stick to formal terms of address. Then I remembered that plants emit ultrasonic frequencies when they're stressed, and they thrive in the presence of certain sound waves. I was tempted to listen to Vivaldi's Four Seasons right then and there. I turned the page to learn that New Zealand's lawmakers granted personhood to a mountain, honoring it as a Maori ancestor. Taranaki Moonga now has all the rights, responsibilities, and privileges of a person. I sent a mental greeting to its snow-capped peak. The buttery yellow freesia blooms were sunning themselves in a pot on the patio. I took a seat nearby and we shared a friendly silence. It was a shame we couldn't have a proper conversation.
And now we have Jeff Tavis.
Yes.
I thought you made that happen.
I actually did make that happen. Okay, belief, interesting. Okay, so, hello everybody. I teach English at Livermore High School, and I appreciate the elements of poetry I've been hearing tonight, such as repetition and onomatopoeia, boom. You're not the only one who used boom tonight. However, my little piece here, inspired by Peggy.
What?
Are you Peggy?
Yes.
Okay. You gave us.
I never saw him before.
Right. I've never met Peggy except for the emails that come out through Mark Campesino, our other LHS, he teaches poetry. And so we had an extra week to generate a poem.
Right.
So thanks to that extra week, during our classes, if I had time to sit down, I generated this over a week. And it's completely, it's a complete invention, lacking in any lyricism. So it's not really a poem, it's an experiment. And I'm not going to read it to you. If you would like a copy, I have it. It's sort of in a concrete form, a wave form. If anybody would like to come grab one, I'm not going to read it. It's not much of a poem, other than the inspiration for the poem, which is a quote from Einstein, which I will read to you. It's at the bottom, near the bottom. It says, well, paraphrasing Einstein, science without faith is lost. Faith without science is blind. And that's all I'm going to say.
Wait, there's a story behind this kind of poetry, or this kind of form, right?
Concrete poetry.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean the title of it means something.
Oh, the title, okay, anthroposophy.
Yes.
I used fancy words. I had wonderful teachers at Long Beach State, Gerald Laughlin, Professor Gerald Laughlin, who was a dear friend of my favorite poet. If you've ever heard of, from San Pedro, Charles Bukowski, anybody?
Oh, yeah.
There you go, my favorite poet, Charles Bukowski. But was that your question? So, let me just, the title is Anthroposophy, a fancy word that's difficult to say. Human wisdom,
Right.
exit Parva Mundi.
Uh-huh.
Through human wisdom, exit the small world we happen to be in. Okay?
And you created this?
I did.
Okay.
I'm hyper-educated, which is not always a good thing. The big words muddle my head continually, and I have to get them out and release them before they return.
But this poem, this concrete poem is filled with scientific words, right?
Yes.
They lead up to that ending.
As well as religious words and theological words, philosophical words. Words is what we create. And I believe that science is merely one half of a balance we are attempting to create with other aspects of the human experience. Science is only one half at best. So this is not much of a poem other than an experiment.
Stop saying that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Actually, if you read the poem, not so much the poem, you do see that there's a lot of poetry packed into it and a lot of scientific terms, and they do lead, there is a pattern, correct?
There is a pattern. For better or worse, not my pattern. I didn't make it up.
Well, you made up the part that went inside it, though,
I
right?
found it. It's in the air.
Ah. Okay then. It's not original. Okay. So, are there any other adults? Okay, let me read those. I'm sorry, I don't have you on the list.
That's a bad handwriting.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Paul Maggi. My sonnet is called Science in Our City. When you think of science, do you see white coats and tubes? Can you eureka banal? Look at this firehouse bulb that predates flight. There's science to find among this sprawl. Vintners watch the perfect plants sown in rows, then turn grapes to wine by fermentation. A square mile on the eastage of town glows, strategic deterrence for our nation. While the hills above were the arms Cahoe tilts, but they're generators, not titans. Wakeoff Mines has blue-green water floating. Signs on the bank when born of sickness frightens. Each place can be wonders employed in, but our town has soul, Livermore in.
Anyone who has not been called up to read who intended to read tonight? No? Okay. Well, then let's get to our adult winners. Our honorable mention went to a gentleman who is not here tonight. He wrote a poem called Our Clean Energy Hopes, and this is Louis Schimmelman. And he's well known in poetic circles and in wineries around town because he reads his poems in the wineries, and wherever he can get someone to listen, he has a poem. So this was a good one, and I'm sorry he's not here. So Louis is our honorable mention. Here. And third place goes to Alan Franz.
Congratulations, Al.
Thank you, Peggy.
Second place goes to Lauren DeVore for A Question of Optics. Lauren is our queen of sonnets. She wrote another beautiful sonnet, and she's just amazing, but I'm sorry she's not here to read it for you. And first place for Now I Become Death, Conrad Hardy. Well done.
I'm not shocked.
And that concludes the awards, well, the award ceremony. I hope that you all ate some food, because there's a lot of it. So thanks again to Paul. Oh, Paul wants to get a picture of the winners.
Oh, everyone who's read.
He wants to get a picture of
With the mayor.
Come up here.